Welcome to Center Heist Productions. Please hit the likes and subscribe down below in your right hand corner. Muchly appreciate that. Thank you to my supporters and followers. I really appreciate your support as we've built this, and we've been around, 3 or 4 years now. Anyway, I thank you very much. Please share it with your friends and family. It helps us grow, as we are definitely a different Habs podcast where we don't do things to generate, how do you put it? False, just to get numbers. And we like to do this slow and methodical so that we're giving you the real deal. I take great pride in creating this channel because we avoid rumors, and that seems to be the trend, and we avoid it. We'd rather talk about information as it falls and is factual instead of a bunch of rumors just to get you here. And 99% of the time, it never comes into fruition. So I take great pride in that. And I know it's a different approach. And we don't use clickbait to get you here. So now, if you come across the channel, please hit the likes and subscribe. We're going to get down to it. This was Sunday night's game with Tampa and Montreal for game 4. And yes, I wanted to do this yesterday, but my software was acting up. And so I had to let it rest and figure itself out. Had some tweaks to do with it. Anyway, so let's get to it. First period, we'll get to the stats here, 0-0. Second period, Montreal did well, was ahead 2-0, but Tampa started coming back with some, um, there was a change, in with the penalties. They started coming on at the end of that second period, so they ended up scoring. So it was 2-1 for Montreal after the second. Then Tampa added two in the third to make the complete comeback, which unfortunately changes this series dramatically. We're going to talk about the different things, but we'll finish the stats. So it's very sad that it went that way, but this is a young team and things happen. So let's get right to it. This was a great thing. No scoring in the first period. Zach Bolduc gets a beautiful one as he um, has a breakaway going down the ice with a man on him, and he carries it right to the net and scores. And the pass was made by Gooley, and Texier started the play. So that was at 10:06. Then we had a goal from finally Cole Caulfield scoring a power play goal. Nice to see him get that shot off, and Nick Suzuki assisting it, and of who other than Lane Hudson starts the play. That seems to be the common denominator. But this is where Tampa gets into it. Jake Gensel finally gets on the scoring sheet, assisted by Mosier and Radish. So that made things 2-1. That was where the change started happening. Montreal started getting into penalty trouble, and there was that big, massive hit on Slavkovsky. We'll talk about it. 140, who other than Brandon Hagel, his fifth power play goal. Montreal's got to stop taking penalties, assisted by Kucherov and Gensel. And then Hagel once again gets the winner. He's just been a nightmare for the Habs, assisted by Kucherov and Mosier. Sad, sad, sad. They complete the comeback, and they have to find an answer for Hagel. There's just no end ifs and buts about it. You got to find a way to shut this down. Now, there's some things we're going to talk about. We'll get to the rest of the stats, and then we'll talk about it. All right, let's get to it. Team stats. Okay, so we're almost done here. Let's go to it. This was shot department was very low uh, shooting affair. 20 shots to 18 for Tampa. Hits were 50-28 for Montreal. Hard to believe, and yet they still lost this game. Face-offs won were 37-20 for Montreal. Montreal's face-off percentile was 64.9 to 35.1. Power play opportunities, though, were in Tampa's favor, 7-6, and they each got one power play goal. That's got to improve, though, for Montreal. I've been saying it, just because they got the one goal, it's not enough. They have a better power play than that, and I think something's got to give there. They got the youth, maybe is the issue. I'm not really sure. Power play percentile was 16.7 to 14.3 for Montreal. Shorthanded goals, none. Total penalties, 9-8 for Montreal. Penalty minutes, 18-16 for Montreal. Block shots, 14-13 for Tampa. Takeaways were 7-5 for Montreal, so you think they would have done better. giveaways were 15-4 for Tampa. So we really should have had this game. This was a game, in my opinion, we gave away. We lost the momentum, and one of them was the hit, and then they started scoring, and that's yeah. It took a change. It took a change, and you knew Tampa was not going to want to go down 3 games to 1. I knew they were going to pull out everything. So I'm not surprised this series got tied up. Now this game was won 3-2 this time. This time in regulation. Um, to me, this may be the turning point of the series. I said, and I was being generous in my opinion. The way I project it when on my bracket, I had Montreal going down in 6, and that pretty much looks like how it's going to go, in my opinion. Montreal's got a lot to be proud of. The goaltending is not the issue. He's been standing on his head. Yeah, we did notice he got a little bit more. He was swimming a little bit out of position periodically. Dobish. However, he's the guy he's kept them in this thing. I'm not pleased with the defense, and that means with the forwards as well. Alex Newhook to me has been a passenger watching plays so many times when a goal scored that I'm fed up with it. I thought he had a better performance last year's playoffs than he has this year. I don't understand the thinking of him being utilized at any moment on a penalty kill because he's not good 5-on-5 in the defensive zone. He stands around. You can see it in replays. He doesn't have his man cover. He's watching plays happen in front of him instead of picking up the man. That's been something. I love his offensive side when he's on forechecking, working his tush off. He can be dangerous. He's got speed, but his defensive game is garbage, and it doesn't please me. But I'm not. He's not the only guy to crap on. There's a lot of guys like Kirby Doc against, and again, this doesn't give it. Again, I'm totally against anyone who attacks pro athlete. Um, on social media. So this is not what this is about. But Kirby Doc again was not to be found. And I get a kick out of it too because Tony Marinero bragging on his channel, and I like Tony because I'm a staunch follower. But sometimes he feeds some BS because if he admitted it in his taping, thought that Doc, when they weren't playing well, Doc, Texier, and Bolduc were the three not playing bad, and he thought that Doc should be pulled. So for him to say, "Oh, I knew Doc was going to score," stop the crap, Tony. Be honest. I watch your stuff thoroughly, and you wanted him pulled. You were like the rest of us. You thought there should have been a roster change. So don't feed me the garbage. And I'm saying it respectfully. Just stop trying to look like you're Mr. Right because you're not. We can bring back your tape where you wanted him out of the lineup, just like the rest of us. So don't do it. Be a little more. Um, how do I put that? Solid than that. Be a little more truthful. Okay. So I am calling you out on that one. Sorry, dude. And I'm saying it in respect because, like myself, yes, the bottom dollar, I was very proud that Marty was right and we were all wrong. But you were on that list with guys like myself, like a ton of us that thought Doc should be out of the lineup, and Texier and geez, there it goes again, Bolduc, and those were the three that were in the very first 2 games playing crap. In the very first game, playing like crap. Um, so when they came back and flourished, that was all Marty. He's the only one that gets the credit here, buddy. So not you, Tony. You didn't see it. You seen what we all seen. You thought he should be out of the lineup. So let's be real and let's be honest. Okay, honesty goes a long ways. It's integrity. Okay. Sorry, dude. I have to hit you with that one, and I say it respectfully because I like you a lot and I follow your program. I've always watched you for years, but I don't like when you say some untruths. Let's be honest. Don't try to make yourself look like a know-it-all because you're not there. All right. So let's get right to it. Again, we had this thing wrapped up, 2-0 lead, and then we knew Tampa was going to come at us. That hit on Slavkovsky was a wake-up call for certain, and it seemed to change the wind. And not Slav's fault, other than Slav's got to keep his head up because If he wants to become the next Eric Lindros, he's that's I mean, I thought he had this down. Not, like this was something we've seen a lot in his rookie career. Slav's play also, I mean, other than game one, I'm not there with how his play has been anyway. He's had some effort in game two. And, whereas I seen the other two not have any on his line, not be there. He was the only one for the first two games, but it started changing, especially the last game um, with this game that we're talking about. Um, it's good to see Caulfield finally score because Nick and Caulfield and Nick started coming around the game before in game three. That was nice to see, but Caulfield joining, and producing finally, nice to see. But it's like Slav tapered off after the first two games. The first game was he played phenomenal, and he just hasn't hit that peak. So I think it's a youth thing, most likely. Got a lot to learn, but he's got to learn to keep his head up. That's You're going to get tagged every time. This is the playoffs. You can't do that. And he still, in my opinion, has not figured out his body as a power forward. He can do a lot more damage than he's been able to do. He's got to utilize that frame and start going to the dirty places. He's tapered off going to the dirty places. When he shoots now, it's usually not from the greatest position. It's like he backed off. Maybe some of this intimidation has wore on him with Tampa as the series has been nasty. He's got to get back in the groove and realize he's got to go full tilt. And he's got to start using that body and start taking bodies because he can do a lot of damage if he uses that frame and get to the front of net and cause havoc. He's got to get back to that now. I don't know if he's concussed. I hope not. I'm really hoping not because he's an important part of our future and should be an important part of this series if he can wake up a bit. But Alex Newhook for me, I'm sorry, dudes, it's not working. Doc again, and I'll say it. I will never slam Doc to the degree. Like I said, I attacked those idiots that attacked him on social media. I'm against that. All I'm saying is, I honestly think if he can't bring it, it's time to bring. I like to see Joe Valino in this series. I'm sorry. I think somebody's got to come out. There needs to be a couple of adjustments, and some fresh big bodies would do well. Maybe Kapanen needs a rest. Maybe Newhook needs a rest. I don't know, but that's where I'm looking at this moment. Um, I think Bolduc has really stepped up. However, we know his defensive game still needs work, but boy, he's starting to come through. Texier's played better. He tapered off a little bit in that last one. However, in my book, I'm sorry, and people may disagree. I just feel like right now wouldn't be bad to switch it up. Take And they won't take Newhook out. I know they won't. Um, I just personally think it is time for Doc to have a night off, and it is time for Joe Valino should be the first choice. And I'd like to see somebody come out, and not me. It would be Newhook, but it's not going to be. Um, and put Galley in there for a little surge of experience and some grit because he'll go to the net. And so that's just what I see they may need to do. Put some fresh bodies that are a little fresher because a couple of them might need a rest. Um, and like I said, Kirby, I think his injuries were so severe that this is just not the time for him to work through those. Those are season games. Playoffs, I don't see it. So it's going to be Marty's choice, though. We know that whether he listens to us or not, it's going to be his choice, and he's proved us wrong before. Like I said, with coming back with Kirby the night after, Kirby and Texier and Bolduc all flourished. But I just like I said in this game four again, Kirby was dismal again. So it's only been one game he showed up. I gotta give him a rest if I'm the coach. It's not bailing out on him. It's just saying, okay, we need an injection of some physicality here because Kirby's another one. I mean, and he has a tendency to play scared, and who wouldn't with two knee injuries that to the same leg? So I'm not knocking him in that regard. I just think he's not bringing the intensity he needs. I even say Slav is not bringing the intensity now. I thought Caulfield and Suzuki haven't brought more so than anybody. Didn't bring the intensity until just recent. They're finally producing, but they were garbage the first three games. Maybe Suzuki awoken in game three, but that line, the only one that was showing carrying any weight was Slav for the first couple of games. But after that, Slav is and like I said, Slav to me was solid in game one and game two. He was okay. Game three and four, I'm not impressed whatsoever. The whole damn line needs to be able to bring stability, and they're going to have to perform. They've got to outperform that Hagel Kucherov point lineup. And I think if you dominate and cover Kucherov and especially Hagel, you got to find a way. And Corey Perry's just being a thorn, and there's no reason why there's not somebody who can take on that role of sending the message to Corey Perry. And you don't have to take out somebody good for that. You take out somebody like even a Caden Gooley could smoke him around a bit because Perry is being effective on their half, and he shouldn't really be because his his touch is he doesn't have much of one anymore. So what he does now is truthfully really just be a menace to the opposition, and he's doing it well. So we need to wake up. I say, and I've always said, game threes and game fives will tell you who's going to win the series. So this is going to be a crucial one. I'm kind of stuck where my bracket decision was Tampa in six. It's starting to look that way, and it's just the experience. But Montreal can be very proud of what they've accomplished. Um, but boy, if the I do believe they could pull it off if they could stop being so undamn disciplined. Get it together. You cannot give Tampa that many opportunities, but you're also going to have to start putting the heat on Hagel and Kucherov. You got to watch Gensel. So they're going to have to watch that line. They got to find a way to shut it down. I do say this, and I don't care. I've said this always. I still do not understand why Jack and Struble weren't utilized more because Matheson had a horrific game in this one. Gouldy was the best defenseman on this night, and that third pairing has been pretty solid. I don't think they've been given enough time, and I still say if there's one guy on the Montreal Canadiens, I'm sorry, I have to disagree with, that has been handled differently because there's guys that have been, like Strubel's been equal to Jack Guy in consistency, and I still find in that situation, Jack Guy has been treated differently than anybody on the team. So I'm not convinced that Marty treats everybody the same, and I love Marty, but no one will convince me that Jack Eye gets treated the same way as his teammates. I don't know what the reason is for that behind the scenes. Not sure. I just know that there is damn well a difference, and it shows in the ice time because he doesn't seem to know when to utilize. Jack Eye's been one of our better defensemen in this series. Struble has too. Now he got burnt. Struble did get burnt the other night, not covering his man in front of the Gensel. I believe it was against Gensel, and he lost him. But other than that, Strubel's been pretty good too. So those two, to me, deserved more ice time, and it seems like they can't make that decision to give it to them. And like I say, Jack Eye always seems to get lesser. I don't understand when he's been one of their better performed, the best defenseman for most of the series. And Strubal's been pretty much, Matheson and Strubel. And, yes, we know Hudson's great offensively. But I thought Carrier had a hard night. I thought Matheson had a hard night in game four. They got obliviated, those two. Um, Gooley had an exceptional game, was by far the best defenseman for Montreal. That was nice to see. The amount of hits he threw was great. But again, I still say there's something wrong in the coaching dimensions with that, with making decisions with that. Now, my biggest problem though for the defense is forwards like Alex Newhook not picking up their men. That is driving me out of the up the wall. And to me, I don't see how a guy like that could be on the penalty kill. He just does not know how to cover his man. He too many times he gets stuck, stopped watching. He stops. He's watching. You can see him back on in any clip, and he's watching the play go in front of him and doesn't take a man. Just watches it develop. That can't be. He shouldn't be a on the defense on penalty kills. I'm sorry, and it's bad enough on 5-on-5. They should be all over guys like that's asses. And Kirby, like I say, what's Kirby? Sorry, I love, but remember, none of these guys deserve abuse. I'm not saying that. I'm saying let's look at their play. But I think Kirby needs a seat and maybe to look from above. I just don't think with his injuries, that's just my personal opinion, that maybe this is the right time to let him try to work through this because I think he's playing, that he's still skating scared. That's my opinion. Anyway, you see it here at Center Ice. Game five is going to speak the volumes. In my opinion, who wins this game wins the series. And we can be proud of the Habs. They've done well to take 2 games. I'm proud. This team is going to be something in the future. But whoa, what about those Anaheim Ducks? Wow, I think that's going to be a problem of ours when we get to finals in the future. But anyway, look at them. They're doing phenomenal. They pretty much, I can't see Edmonton coming back to beat them. But Montreal, we still have a chance. It just looks like it's going to go the way I projected in my bracket. Thank you for watching. You see it here at Center Heights Productions. Go Habs, go! And I'm praying for that miracle that they prove me wrong. I always love to be proved wrong. Thank you. Take care.